The creator economy is booming, and 2025 is the best year yet to hop on board. If you run a business, an agency, an info product business, or you're trying to get started, you know how hard it can be. Posting content, trying to grow, but not having the systems in place to actually turn those viewers into clients. Most people think that more content means more views, and more views means more money. But without a system to capitalize on those views, you're pretty much just hoping that your next clients appear out of thin air. That's why I built this system. So your content works for you, instead of keeping you stuck on that treadmill of consistently posting content for no real reason. Over the next few weeks, I'm dropping a series breaking down this entire process. This series is going to show you how to build an education company, an agency, a coaching business in 2025 that gives you time, location, and creative freedom without you having to grind 24/7. This is a structured way to attract, nurture, and convert high-ticket clients without spraying out DMs, praying for book calls, or having to go viral every week. This is the first video in this series where I break down exactly how the system works. So make sure you're subscribed and check out the other videos in the description. If they're not there yet, they will be soon, so make sure you're subbed. As well as the free Creatorpreneur Academy, which has a load more valuable assets in there. So if this sounds like what you need, lock in, throw your phone away, take notes, because it's taken me over a year to refine this method, and now I'm giving it to you completely for free. Let's dive straight into it. We're running. So the core thing that we want to do with this system is build a personal brand ecosystem that adds an extra 20k a month without going viral, without having to spend a load of money on ads, and without spending loads of time on it every single day. I've been making videos on this stuff for a long time now. If you haven't seen my stuff on my channel before, go check it out. I'm going to be releasing a series that breaks all of this stuff down over the next few weeks, so make sure you're subbed. If you haven't seen me before, I'm Sam Huckster. I'm the founder of CreatorX, and for the last 6 years, I've been trying to figure out how to build a brand that pays me to create the content I want to make, lets me travel whenever I want, and runs on my own terms. And I've managed to crack it. It's not about trying to get as many views as possible, trying to get as many followers as possible. It's about engineering a system that actually turns viewers into buyers. So you don't have to spend all your time making content that doesn't bring you anything in return. We can capitalize on the attention that we're generating. And in this doc, I'm going to show you exactly how you can set up your own personal brand ecosystem that generates leads, pre-sells those leads, and turns them into clients, and scales without having to rely on the algorithm, having to hop on sales calls and hard sell people, or reach out to people via cold DMs. But first, let me show you that it actually works, because otherwise, what's the point of watching the rest of the video? This is exactly what Rob did to generate over 140k and 20k followers for his trading coach offer. We started on literally 0 followers, and we managed to generate way over 6 figures in the time we were working together using this system. I used it to gain over 65,000 followers, generate over 30k on the first drop of CreatorX. And you can also see guys like Riley, Josh, and Gabe landing their first ticket clients within literally a few days of joining the community. High ticket sales, 50%, 1.125k, 1k there, contract paid there, right? So it's working for people. It's working for people who are established. It's working for people who are complete beginners. Thing is, I know that money's not everything as well. Obviously money's great, but it's also for me about the location freedom. So, for example, back in September, I flew to Bali for 6 weeks with a couple of my friends. Took my girlfriend to Krakow for a long weekend back in, I think it was September. And flew to Barcelona for a long weekend with the family back in December. And the key thing here is that my business didn't slow down. Just because I was away doing other stuff doesn't mean that everything was on pause. But before we continue with the actual system and how it works and stuff like that, in reality, not everyone is going to actually benefit from this video. You have to be in a specific situation to actually benefit from this video. So if you're here, it's probably because you want to build a system that gives you complete freedom. You want to generate money from your content. With that in mind, this is not for people who think that going viral is somehow going to magically get them clients. This isn't for people who love grinding away at content with no actual system to convert that attention into buyers. And it's not for anyone that wants to try and figure it out themselves. I'm not sure quite why you'd want to do that. And it's not for people who are too proud to just copy a system that's already working. And finally, it's not for people who think that working harder is working smarter. If someone has the information for you to go ahead and implement this, why wouldn't you just take it from them? On the other hand, this is for creators, entrepreneurs, and experts in your specific niche who want their content to work for them. They don't want to be glued to their laptop 24/7 like all of these hustle hard guru people, right? They want to create content that actually attracts high ticket clients without needing a load of views. And they want to build a brand that builds authority, not just fleeting attention. And it's for people who want to build a business that gives them the freedom to travel, create, and live on their own terms. So if that's you, lock the fuck in, because this is going to be very, very valuable for you. This is me. This is my pretty little face. A little bit of background expertise. Built and scaled my agency to 10k a month within a couple of months. Realized I hated the agency model, so I switched it up and went into coaching, info products. Grew my personal brand from 0 to 50,000 followers in 45 days. And I've helped a multitude of different clients gain millions and millions of views, multi-six figures in revenue, work with some sick coaches like Rob, work with some really big personal brands, and the #1 business podcast in the UK. So in a nutshell, I know what makes a good content-driven business. All right, so if you're looking for hype and someone who's kind of flashy and going viral every time, I'm not your guy, but I do know how to build a proven system that turns content into cash flow without having to sort of grind 24/7, making content, posting content all the time. So the first sort of switch that I made was, instead of just creating content, right, I started building a brand. You might hear the idea of building a personal brand being thrown around quite a lot on the internet, but there is a clear distinction between just posting reels for the sake of having an online presence and building a brand. Because 2 years ago, things looked very different. This was me. Look how different I look. I look like this now. I used to have glasses and curtains. It was a very strange time. But I was growing fast. Like I said, I had the agency, launched my personal brand. It was growing really quickly, had clients on board still, right? And I was kind of stuck in this loop. I was creating content for me. I was creating content for my clients. I was having DM conversations to try and get people on sales calls. I was trying to take those sales calls. I was trying to close those sales calls, get clients results at the same time. So do all of these things for them as well. I was trying to scale my business. I was trying to scale my client's business. It wasn't very efficient. It wasn't very fun. It wasn't a business. It was more like just a really horrible, boring job. So what I did is I stripped everything back. I focused on building a system. So instead of handling every sale manually, hopping in the DMs, hopping on sales calls, I created an offer that pre-sold itself. So that by the time people got to me, they knew what the offer was, they knew who I was, they knew that I was good at what I did. So they were ready to just kind of get going, and the sales process wasn't as pivotal. And instead of being glued to my laptop, I built an ecosystem that let my brand grow without me having to actually manually input stuff. And as a result, when we plugged it in for myself and my clients, we started gaining thousands of followers and pulling in, some of them were doing like 30K a month in high ticket sales, okay? And that system is the personal brand ecosystem. Again, I've been making content on this for a while now. A lot of other creators in this space are starting to cotton on to the idea of an ecosystem. So you might see some of them talking about it a little bit more in their content. But the truth is, everything works, right? Cold DMs. If you send out enough cold DMs, you're gonna get clients. If you spend enough on paid ads, you're gonna get clients. If you post 100 times a day, you're gonna get clients. The real question you want to be asking is, what is the most efficient way to build your business so it supports the life you actually want? Okay, do you want to be posting 100 times a day? No, that's going to be a pain in the ass. Do you want to be running loads of ads? No, it's going to be expensive. Cold DMs, again, it's going to take you forever, right? For me, that's what CreatorX is all about. That's what the idea of being a contentpreneur is all about, right? It's not just about growth. It's about freedom. So that's what I'm about to break down. So there's a couple of core concepts that kind of helps to birth the idea of the personal brand ecosystem. And the first one came from this guy, Tom Nosk. I actually met up with his head of content out in Bali. Absolutely destroyed him at Paddle. Kyle, if you're watching this. So Tom did a podcast recently that breaks down how he kind of builds his brand, and I thought that he explained this concept really well. The key takeaway being that you are the differentiating factor within your brand. So people are buying into him, all right? They're not buying into his product. They're not buying into his videos. They're buying into him and the value that he provides via his insights and his experience. That's what makes him irreplaceable. The fact that he has experience, the fact that he has these unique insights, right? So key takeaway from this kind of video is that he positioned himself and his brand as an authority figure. And then everyone's seen this dude, right? Iman Gadzi. He said that this video acted as a VSL, right? We're going to go over this as well. And it generated him over $20 million. This one video. What he's done here, and what Tom has done as well, is they've designed a system where the content does all the heavy lifting for them, right? He's not pitching to a load of people to get them to buy. He's leveraging content to do the sales process for him. But I know what you're probably thinking, right? Sam, these guys have millions of viewers and followers. Of course, they're going to be making money, right? This video's got like 7 mil views. This guy's got like 500K followers. And I get that. So what I went away and did is figured out how to apply these concepts to micro creators like you and me. How can we do this with not as much traffic, but still get similar results and make a load of money from positioning yourself as an authority, building a system, and automating that system? Simple as. That's what the kind of idea of the ecosystem is built off of. So here's how I do it. So the personal brand ecosystem. Let's make it red. Fuck it. Feeling a bit crazy. Let's make it red. Bang. The difference between content creators and contentpreneurs, people like you and me, is that they have a system working for them, right? So the ones that successfully engineer a customer journey from first impression all the way to paying client. That's what makes a contentpreneur. Here's how it works. Okay, this is that system. This is how the personal brand ecosystem works. Starts off with offer alchemy. The key thing with your offer is if you build it in the right way, if you build it in the way that we're going to go through, if you solve a real problem, you will never run out of content ideas, you'll never run out of social proof, and your messaging is going to consistently sharpen itself. The offer really does fuel everything. Then we move on to authority architecture. So establishing ourselves as an authority figure through our content. This is going to help us to build trust of our audience. We're going to use case studies from our offer, leverage testimonials, content from our program to position ourselves as the obvious solution. Then you've got your content ecosystem. And this is our clear customer journey that takes people from having never seen you before all the way through to a nurtured lead who's ready to buy. Okay, I'm going to break this down in a load of detail in this video. But it basically moves people from short form viewers to long form viewers, to email subscribers, to community members, all the way through to buyers. Okay, and there's a load of different steps we're going to go through. Every piece of content should have a purpose, should lead them somewhere. And then finally is the amplification engine. Okay, once everything's in place, once we've got this system, we've got our offer, we've got our content, and we've got our customer journey, we can pour fuel on it so that everything's automated. Our content, lead gen, fulfillment, everything is automated. So the idea is we're not just hoping that someone sees our content and buys from us. Okay, we are engineering authority in every single step of the customer journey. So that by the time someone books a call with you, they already know, like, and trust you. And if you're in this space, you know that that's like the magic 3. So I'm going to break this down step by step. This document is going to be in the description of this video. You can have access to this as well and go through it yourself. But let's dive into phase 1. Offer alchemy. If your offer isn't one of the best on the market, no amount of content or ads is going to save you. All right? If you're running traffic to an offer that is shit and doesn't suit your target avatar, it's not going to make them want to buy it. But if your offer is dialed in, we're going to be able to extrapolate all of our marketing, our sales, and our content from it. If you have a good offer that solves a problem for your target audience in an efficient way, your offer is going to do a lot of the selling for you. All right, so with that in mind, offer alchemy is actually the foundation of everything. The first thing we want to do is we want to find our why. A lot of people kind of like glaze over this because they think it's not that important, but let me show you why it is. So most people pick a niche based on what they think is going to work. All right, they'll sell dog toys on Amazon because they think it's going to make a load of money, right? Instead of what actually makes sense for them as a person, as a creator. If you want to build something that's long-term, think like the next 10, 20 years, you want to be doing this, right? You need to choose a niche that you can commit to, one that's profitable, fulfilling, and actually aligned with your skill set. And that is where the Ikigai framework comes in. What you need to do is find the overlap between these 4 things. What you love, okay, what would you do if no one paid you? Like if you weren't getting paid, what would it be that you are doing? What the world needs, okay, is it an actual problem that needs solving? What you're good at, okay, leverage your skill sets, your knowledge, your experience that you already have, and what you can be paid for. Again, is this something that people are going to be willing to give you money to solve? Is it drastic enough to be paid for? And if you're missing any one of these 4 things, not only is it going to be hard for you to make your business work, but it's not going to be sustainable and it won't be fulfilling for you. And that's what's key. And most people never figure this out. So they burn out, they stop making content because they don't actually enjoy it. So you need to make sure it's fulfilling. You need to make sure it's sustainable and profitable. So you want to get crystal clear on what your why is using this Ikigai framework. Next up, we want to build a client roadmap that actually gets results. Most people focus on how they're going to make money, what they want to sell. Okay, they build out a course or whatever, instead of how they're actually going to get the client's results. You don't just need an offer, you need a client roadmap that takes someone from struggling with a very specific problem to achieving their dream outcome, solving it. We're going to go into this in more depth in a future video, but in a nutshell, here's how we create a client roadmap that actually gets results. So we're actually going to start off with the end goal. All right, what's their dream outcome? Do they want 6-pack abs? Do they want to pack on an extra 10 pound of muscle? Do they want to make an extra 30K a month? People don't buy coaching calls, courses, programs, okay? They don't buy them. What they do is they invest in a transformation. If you can't sell that end goal, that outcome, no one's going to buy your products. Simple as. And from there, we can go ahead and reverse engineer. So identify the exact steps needed to get them from their current situation to this end goal, right? Where do they get stuck? What's the things they're struggling with? And you can go ahead, you can do research. You can ask your audience on Instagram. You can ask people you know, right? You can do market research to find out what the pain points are, find out what's missing. And from there, we can go ahead and create a client roadmap. And like I said, I'm going to go into this in more detail in a future video. But the way that we do this at CreatorX is we create a 3x3x3 roadmap. And what this does is this shows prospects visually exactly how you're going to get them from point A to point B. And when your offer has a clear roadmap, it becomes a no-brainer for buyers. If they can visually see the steps, the roadmap to get them from their current situation to that end situation, exactly how it's going to work in your marketing, in your content, it becomes a no-brainer. So we're going to build that out as well. And then finally, we need a unique mechanism, all right? Packaging your specific process, your specific system into a product that they can only get from you. Okay, so the key idea of building a personal brand is that they're buying into your way of doing it. They're buying into you and they're buying into your system. You need to be the only person on the internet that they can get this system from. Okay, creating that exclusivity, creating that uniqueness about your product. Okay. And when we develop this roadmap in the right way, it becomes the epicenter for everything else we do in our content ecosystem. Okay, producing case studies, testimonials. Okay, we can draw ideas for content. We can pull lead magnets out of here. We can pull emails, content, ads, authority content, DM conversations can be based off of our offer and assets for our community. All right, we can just take them straight out of our high ticket program and use them as lead magnets, use them as emails, right? And once we've got a high ticket offer that people actually want in a way to get results, get case studies, the next step is making people see you as that authority figure, right? And that's where authority architecture comes in. Because you could have the best product in the world. It could get the best results in the entire world. But if you can't communicate that effectively and make you come across as an authority figure, then no one's going to actually buy your products. Moving on to phase 2, authority architecture. So most creators are wasting their first impression. A lot of people assume that if they post enough, people will eventually figure out who they are, what they do, and why they should trust them. And they will, okay, to a degree. But that's not how it should work. Your Instagram needs to be set up as if it's a sales page for your brand. The second that someone lands on your profile, they should immediately know who you are, who you help, why they should trust you, okay, can you do what you say you can do, and what should they do if they want to learn more and understand your journey a little bit better. If any of these 4 things are unclear, you are losing potential prospects at the first hurdle, okay, they're just going to swipe away. The way that we build authority is how we position ourselves, the content we create, and the journey that we take our audience on, okay, where we send them next. So first up, authority positioning. Your brand is either pulling people in or it's pushing them away. It could be that your visual branding is bad. It's left a bad impression on them. It could be that your messaging on your profile and in your content is confused. The moment someone lands on your page, they need to feel like they found the exact perfect person who's going to solve all of their problems, the exact person they've been looking for. Because people don't buy from the people they see the most. They buy from the people that they see as being a few steps ahead of them. Okay, so they're a little bit better at doing what they do than they are. And that level of authority doesn't come from posting value-driven reels and viral content, right, to get loads of views. You could be the smartest person in your space, dropping insane value every single day, but if your brand doesn't instantly communicate authority, credibility, and differentiation, people aren't going to take you seriously, all right? These 3, authority, credibility, differentiation. Let's take Alex Hormozi, for example, right? His content is his process, his insights, his perspective, his stories, his client results, stuff like that, right? Branded in a unique way to differentiate himself. And because of that, people don't just watch his content, they enter his ecosystem. And here's how we can do this. There's a few different types of content. Again, this document's going to be in the description below, so you can go ahead and access this and refer to it. These 4 types of content are going to be really, really key for establishing authority. The first one's paradigm shifts. And when I say paradigm shifts, I mean changing the way that people perceive a certain notion. Because if you can get people to change the way that they perceive themselves, their actions will follow suit. So for example, if you can change someone's perceptions of themselves on what they're capable of and what's possible for people in their position, they're going to be a lot more likely to invest in that mentorship, in that guidance to actually achieve those results. Secondly, we've got social proof, and this kind of plays into this, okay? Social proof, again, positioning you as that authority, showing that your process works, that your system works, and that people in your target avatar's position are leveraging your system and actually getting results. Thirdly, and this is a key one, I've actually got a really good resource on storytelling in my free school community, in the Creatorpreneur School Academy. So if you want to join that completely for free, it's in the description of this video. A really good thing about storytelling is it evokes emotion within your viewers. So if you can get someone to feel something through your content with storytelling, then they're going to feel more connected to your brand and you're going to leave more of a lasting impression on them. And finally, one of my favorite ways to kind of stand out as an authority with your content is by giving unique insights that only you have, right? So by having experience in a certain niche or in a certain sort of world, for example, if you've been training for 20 years, you have insights that other people do not have. Okay, so leveraging those insights, leveraging those stories is a really good way to establish authority. Because if people don't trust you and see you as that authority figure, they're not going to buy from you. And if your content doesn't make you stand out, you're just another creator kind of blending into the noise, and we know who those people are. I've got loads of other videos on content strategy, so you can go and watch them if needs be. So authority content that we've just been over. Authority content is there to position you as an expert. Value content shows that you actually know what you're talking about, and it educates your audience on your sort of process. And then viral content. Viral content is really useful, and it helps to grow your audience and it helps to expand your reach. Don't rely on it too heavily, otherwise you're going to build an audience of watchers and not buyers. A lot of creators just focus on the value content and don't try and establish authority, and that's why they get stuck in that sort of friend zone where they're not making any sales. So each type of content should serve a purpose. Authority builds trust, value builds credibility, and viral content builds visibility. And then the next step. Now, what you need to understand is that the majority of your viewers aren't going to be ready to buy yet. If someone's watched a 30-second ad or a 30-second reel, they're not going to then drop 2K on your product. But if you have clear steps that move them from just short form content that moves them closer to buying, they're naturally going to get nurtured over time. When all of these elements are in place, you no longer feel like you're constantly chasing new clients. Okay, your profile is going to attract the right people. Your content's going to make them trust you and see you as that authority figure. Your social proof makes it undeniable that you get results. And your next steps are going to keep them engaged and kind of nurture them and build that connection even further. This is how you build authority. All right. So let's build that next step. And that's the content ecosystem. This is where we're going to nurture people and convert attention into actual paying prospects. Like I just said, no one's dropping 3K on something because they saw a single reel. Okay. High ticket sales aren't impulse buys. But when people have seen you across multiple platforms, they've consumed your longer form content, they've built that layer of trust and emotion, they've engaged with your brand on a deeper level through something like emails, DMs, and communities, okay, that's when people convert. But if your business isn't structured like this, you're relying on luck as opposed to a system. And briefly, before we move on, I'm going to go over the 7-11-4 rule. So the 7-11-4 rule was developed by the guys at Google. It essentially says that your customer is a lot more likely to buy from you if they've seen 7 hours of your content across 11 touch points on 4 different platforms. So the idea of the content ecosystem is maximizing those touch points and reaching that 7-hour mark as efficiently as possible. Here's how the content ecosystem works. And this is probably the most important part of this process, so make sure you're watching. So instead of just posting content and hoping that it reaches the right people, you need a structured journey that takes viewers, right, from complete stranger here to follower, to lead, to client. And that system has 3 key stages. Traffic generation, using ads and organic content, nurturing that traffic and redirecting it with DMs, Instagram profile, and lead magnets, and then pre-selling and converting. And we do this with email, community, and YouTube. I'm going to break down these steps in a lot more detail in a second. So let's first dive into this traffic generation section. So short form can get views and it can build authority to some degree, but it doesn't build that depth. Okay, we want to hit that 7-hour mark like we talked about before. People also think that running 30-second ad to a landing page is a good way to book a call. Again, the same problem arises. They're going to get to that call, have no idea who you are, have no idea what your kind of system is, and it's going to be a waste of time. This way is dead. Instead of using short form and ads as your kind of entire strategy for booking calls, use it as an entry point. Okay, use it as the first step. This section, okay, this top of funnel section, your content and your ads should make people think, this guy knows his shit, I need to check out more of his content. Because the real trust and the real authority is being built in these later stages. Once we've captured that attention, we need to do something with it. So let's move on to nurture and redirect. So the idea here is that we're pushing traffic here to our Instagram profile. So they're going to drop us a follow. They're going to start seeing our Instagram content. They're going to start seeing our stories, etc. So what we want to do is we want to redirect this traffic. And we're going to do this in a couple of ways. All right. So the first way we can do it is by pushing it to a lead magnet. All right. And when we give out a lead magnet, we can use a tool like ManyChat to capture an email address. All right. And the beauty of this is when we give out a lead magnet, that also opens up a DM conversation. All right. So just like that, we've got the follow, we've opened up a conversation and they've received an asset from us, which is going to build some trust. They can see that we have expertise. It's going to open a conversation in the DMs and it's going to lead to a next step. We can then DM them with a link to our YouTube, our free school community, and we can send them an email sequence which does the same thing, right? So we're collecting their email, opening a conversation and pushing them to our YouTube or our community. which moves us nicely onto the third phase, all right? Pre-sell and pre-convert. And this is what's going to do the majority of the heavy lifting in our content ecosystem, okay? Email marketing, community, and YouTube VSL. Because at this stage, people already trust you to some degree. They've seen your content, they know they want to learn more, so they come over to your different platforms. So now what we need to do is make buying from you the only logical decision in their mind. And the first way of doing this is email, the silent sales machine. What we need to remember is a lot of people don't buy the first time they see your offer, but once they're on your email list, we can consistently send them information about our system and how it works. We can send them lead magnets. We can send them case studies on a regular basis. We can push them into our community and our YouTube VSL. We can push them back to our Instagram if we want, keeping them in that ecosystem, constantly soaking up our content. This way we can stay top of mind, communicate directly with them, and use it as a tool to guide our audience where we want to go, right? If we launch a new YouTube video, we can announce it on our email, push traffic over here, right? If we have a new post or a new lead magnet in our community, we can push people on our email list over to our community. So they all kind of push each other onto each other, right? Secondly, the YouTube VSL, our 24/7 sales machine. And this thing's like the final boss of your content ecosystem. It does all the heavy lifting. So the idea of a YouTube VSL is it's very similar to this video, right? In a video like this, it introduces me properly. It introduces you properly, all right? It says who you are, explains your story and why you're kind of different to everyone else. It explains your method, how your system works and why it's the best option. It pre-sells your offer so that by the time they reach out, they know exactly what you can offer, exactly the system you're offering, so that they know that they need it in order to succeed. And it gives them a next step, all right? It pushes them to your free community, back to Instagram, or, subscribe to the YouTube so that they can watch the next video. Think about it. If someone finds your content and is curious about working with you, where do they need to go to fully understand it? You want to be pushing your traffic to this video so it can explain your offer and your story and everything about you on your behalf. Okay, and it's not just a random piece of long form content. All right, YouTube is then going to act as its own funnel. All right, so all other videos that we post can also push traffic to this YouTube video. Okay, the YouTube algorithm is also going to push these videos, and you can put the link to this video in these videos and kind of push traffic to it as well. So the short form brings people in, the long form builds trust and authority and kind of pre-educates them, but ultimately everything leads back to this core video where they get the full picture of what the offer is, who you are, etc. You just need the right people watching it. For example, let's say you get 5,000 views on this YouTube VSL from organic content and ads per month. Let's say 2% of those people book a call for the sake of argument. It's 100 calls per month. And if you close 30% of those people, that's 30 high ticket clients every month. And if your offer's 3K, that's 90K per month. Again, this is just an example, but I'm showing you how the maths checks out. It does work. This system really works. And this is why content alone doesn't make money. Okay, systems do. That one YouTube video wouldn't make money on its own. It only does because we're generating traffic from other places. Your ecosystem and your content is working on your behalf. It's selling your program on your behalf. So this is how you stop chasing clients and start attracting them. And thirdly is community. Okay, people don't buy just because of content. Okay, content can do a lot of the heavy lifting. Okay, it can push people in the right direction. It can nurture people, but they buy because they feel they're connected to you. And one of the fastest ways to deepen a connection is through conversations. We can do that in the DMs and community. Something like the Creatorpreneur Academy, right? Private group creates a space where you can engage with your audience on a deeper level. It's going to be so much easier to convert a warm lead who's inside your community to your high ticket program than it is to get someone who's a cold lead from social media to buy it. So the idea is that people are getting drip fed into your ecosystem. All right. People are watching your short form content. They're seeing an ad. They're going onto your email list. They're being pushed to your YouTube VSL. They're being pushed over to your YouTube. They're being pushed to your school. Eventually, it might not be instant. It might take a while, but they're going to be nurtured from all these different touch points to the point where they're ready to buy. And instead of relying on manual DMs to convince people, your community and your content are going to do the majority of the heavy lifting for you. This is how content actually converts, and this is how you build a system that is actually going to engineer your customer journey, all right? Generate traffic, redirect that traffic, and nurture it using these different systems. At this point, everything's kind of in place to start generating some high-ticket clients. You have a system that attracts the right people, nurtures them, and converts them. But now the idea with like a creator business is that we want to remove ourselves from the process as much as possible. We want to focus on what we want to do. Like I said, traveling, creating content we want to create, creative projects, okay, moving the business forwards. And that's where scaling and amplification comes in. This is phase 4 of the personal brand ecosystem. So we've done offer alchemy, we've done authority architecture, we've done the content ecosystem now. Now we're moving on to the amplification engine. And the thing is, scaling isn't about doing more. It's about doing less while creating more leverage. So right now, if you stop posting content, your business would stop growing. If you stop handling every DM, every edit, every sales call, that's not a business. That's a full-time job disguised as freedom. The next step is to make sure that traffic generation, content, and sales can all happen without you. And again, I'm going to do a video that goes a lot more in depth on this concept, but in a brief nutshell, traffic generation. We're going to go from organic to scaling up our ads. When we use ads to automate traffic generation, it becomes more predictable, it becomes more systemized, and we know that we're not relying on the algorithm to bring eyeballs to our brand. This means no more relying on organic content just to stay relevant, and you can create content that you actually enjoy, right? It frees you up creatively, you can create whatever you want without worrying about whether it's going to convert into clients. Low ticket system, all right? Traffic alone is great, but inside CreatorX, we've got a system that allows you to leverage low ticket products that offset your ad costs, so you're essentially being paid to build a list of buyers. All right, I'm not going to go into detail on this video, but essentially when someone buys one of your products, they're a lot more likely to buy again, meaning that we're literally getting paid to build a list of email addresses who have bought our products already, making it a lot easier to upsell them to our higher ticket stuff. And thirdly is systemizing and scaling, okay? If you're still editing all your content, going through your DMs, handling all your sales calls, we can build out a system. We've got AI content systems. We can help you to recruit an editing team, DM setters, take all those jobs off your plate. And like I said, your content's already doing the selling for you on your behalf. So by the time someone books a call, they're already pretty much in, okay? And once this is all dialed in, all the systems, all of the kind of traffic generation, right? The business literally runs without you. You just have to make some content every now and then, get client results, okay? And no more daily grind just to keep things moving. When this system's built, it's time to scale. Again, I've kind of rushed over this, but we're going to go through it in more detail in future videos. So all that leaves is a decision. If you want to build a personal brand ecosystem that adds an extra 20K a month to your coaching or info business without having to go viral, no expensive ads, not working more than 4 hours a day, the sad truth is that the majority of the people watching this video will not build a profitable personal brand that makes them loads of money on autopilot. But you're an action taker. So if you're ready to build a brand that funds your freedom and attracts high ticket clients without needing loads of views, runs on systems instead of stress, then this is for you. And you've got 3 choices from here. You can keep grinding, hoping that you'll figure it out. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. Secondly, you can take the free assets and start implementing it for yourself. So like I said, I'm dropping a load of content about this system on my YouTube. So you can go ahead and subscribe and get all this information for free. Also, I've got the Creatorpreneur Academy, which is in the description, where I share exclusive insights, exclusive assets. Got a load of free assets in there, which is going to help you to get the ball rolling, to build your content ecosystem and start getting your first few clients. If you're serious about learning this, that is the best place to start off. Or you can skip all the guesswork and come work directly with me. If you're ready to build your personal brand ecosystem and you just can't be bothered to try and figure it out for yourself, you want to save yourself some time and you want to add an extra 20K a month to your business in the next 90 days without all the trial and error, DM me 2025 on Instagram or join the school community and drop me a message in there and I'll send you the details on how you can get on board. Either way, you now have everything you need to go ahead and get started. The only question is, are you going to take action and actually do something? Your move. Make sure you subscribe and I'll see you in the next video.